Welcome to the Dynamic Hour. Again, it is a pleasure for me to be on that journey with you where we can meaningfully engage, where we can converse, where we can talk. This morning, I'm doing the program from my phone, different gadget, a different device, because yesterday my system got burnt. But those things do happen with technology and with so many other things. So I have to replace my desktop computer sometime today or during the week. But in the meanwhile, we need to continue that journey. We need to engage meaningfully. So I want to encourage those who are viewing me via Facebook to please share the live. In fact, I will go ahead and share the live. So my friends on my page will get the opportunity to be a part of the conversation. So I want to encourage you to share the live so as many people as possible on your page will view, will listen. You may underestimate your role when you share that live. All right? You may underestimate your role. I can tell you that because a lot of people get to discover the program when you share it on your page. Sometimes you may believe that they know the program exists, but when you share it, they discover it and they start listening to the program. So I want to encourage you to please share the live. I want to start off this morning by complimenting the Florida chapter of the NDC. They've done a marvelous job in organizing this event. It's the 30th anniversary of the chapter being formed and operating, and I want to applaud them. I want to commend them. I want to say to them, keep doing what they are doing because it's good. It is wonderful. And we are seeing the results of that. It was a Ram Hall. The Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell attended and other high-ranking officials of the NDC. So this is good. It augurs well for the NDC here at home and in the diaspora. We have seen the New York chapter organizing a very successful event celebrating 38 years of being in existence and connecting, being the bridge between Grenadians home and in the diaspora, having events and activities, supporting many things in Grenada, the development of this country, Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So the NDC have had 100% of very, very successful events in the diaspora. And it speaks volumes because the NNP, they tried. They tried to have events and they were not successful. They tried it in New York, tried it in Florida, they tried it in Canada, they tried it in the United Kingdom. They were not successful. And it says a lot because the Grenadian people are embracing the NDC as a brand and as a party who continues to work for people, to develop our people. On the weekend or the latter part of last week, we saw Jump 2.0 being relaunched because they launched the program previously and they were able to reach 600 plus families with internet, with a gadget or device, and with training. So you're talking about a public-private partnership where the government of Grenada, the most Honorable Deacon Mitchell, and his administration engaged Flow. They partnered with Flow, knowing that we have thousands of people in Grenada who still do not have access to internet, to a device. Yes, you may have two phones. Yes, you may have a tablet and a laptop, or maybe a desktop. But there are families who do not have what you have. Basic, a device and access to internet. We saw what that did to children, or how it impacted children during COVID-19. Their homes were without internet and they never had a gadget. And schoolwork, classes were done online, right? So if you don't have internet service, you don't have a device, then and if you have a device, then you have to go somewhere where you can get a hotspot or Wi-Fi or something like that. So it was very difficult for the students during that period of time. But the government, the NDC administration, recognizing that, decided to partner with Flow and have them install internet in homes without. And it's targeting the most vulnerable families, because obviously, if you don't have if you don't have income, if you don't have that kind of support, then the chances of you having internet and paying a bill every month is very, very slim. So the JUMP program provides internet access to families for $20, but they're given a free device, a laptop, a free device with training. So they train them how to use it, how to use the internet, how to make the internet work for you and your family. So they've been able to reach 600 plus families. And now JUMP 2.0 is targeting 800 families. So they've already identified the families. So they're looking at 800 plus families. In fact, our beloved Prime Minister said they want to target in every program 1,500 families. They're trying to reach as many people as possible in the country, because there are still people without internet service and without a gadget, without training on how to use the internet. So I want to applaud the government of Grenada. And it says that the government cares about people. You look at different programs that they have rolled out, different initiatives that they rolled out in the last 3 years. You look at the WASH program. Again, that program continues to impact families in a very positive way. You're talking about houses without bathroom and toilet and running water in many cases, because the NNP left 8,715 people using pit latrines and open bathrooms. Either they go to the river or they pump up some galvanized thing and they get some pipe and they function from that. The NNP left that as a legacy. The NDC came into power and said, no, we cannot have our people in that kind of condition. We need to improve their standard of living. And they embark upon the WASH program, providing a modern bathroom and toilet facility for those families. And if you are like me, who saw the bathrooms, who saw the modern bathroom and toilet facility, I was impressed. They paint them. Firstly, it's concreted. So it's concrete bathroom and toilet. It's painted. Electricity is also done, right? They wire it and make sure that it has electricity, plumbing, and in there they do all the fittings, all the sinks, all the, toilet bowl and everything. They tile it. So tiling is done too. Ready to be used. Cupboards in some cases, having a cupboard, under the sink and a mirror, modernizing it, making it ready to use. And they provide that to the families, not just an individual, but a family. And you're talking about hundreds of families being impacted by the WASH program. So you look at the JUMP program, providing internet access to 600 plus families. That was the first rollout. Now, the second rollout, 800 plus families, internet service, a free device, and training. You look at the WASH program, hundreds of families received a modern bathroom and toilet facility. And besides the WASH program, you have the government, the Ministry of Housing and Social Development. They're actually doing toilets and baths for families too. Then you look at the Build Back Better homes. Hundreds of families, again, impacted positively by having a brand new house built for them. They paint it, they do the plumbing works, the electrical work. It's a complete house that they're given to them. Not just a halfway thing, a complete house. And again, families are impacted positively. Then the building material supplies program, that program where families are given material assistance to repair their homes, to add on a room, to do some additional work on their homes. That continues to be an excellent program, one that's bringing positive change to so many families. So again, families are impacted. You look at the pension being paid, 500 plus families again receiving their pension, receiving their gratuity. And besides that, you have those who are retiring as we speak, or recently, from the time the pension was paid to now. There are a lot of people who retired and they fall under that same pension, getting the gratuity upfront, so upfront payment. How the gratuity works is it's an upfront or an advance on your pension. So the person is supposed to get this amount of money for the pension, but what the government does, they give them a certain percentage, 12% or whatever the amount, for all the years. And they lump it together, lump sum, something like that. But when they reach, not the 12%, sorry, it's a kind of 12 years amount. But when they reach 72, I think, so between 60 and 72, the government then gives them a reduced pension. But once they attain the age of 72, then they get the full thing, the full amount, the full amount. So you're talking about 500 plus families. So thank you, Crispin McDonald, right? So I was on point. So it's the gratuity is an advance on your pension. So they give you a reduced pension, but when you retire, you get the lump sum, the 200 and something thousand, the 100 and something thousand, the 300 and something thousand, you get that. And then over the 12-year period, you're going to get a reduced pension. Or when you're 72, you get the full thing. But 500 plus families got that. They were disenfranchised under the NNP. The NNP decided they're not giving them the money. They were marching in the streets and all that kind of stuff. NDC came in and they paid them $75.1 million. Just like that. Just like that. So again, families were impacted. 500 plus families were impacted. And that is something that you need to remember. It is not just any and anybody or one person. And then those who are retiring, they fall under that and they go all the way until death. Because the pension is paid until you pass away. And if you have a widow, you know that person going to benefit. Then we had the pay and grade for the police officers. They were negotiating for that for years, and then they refused to give them. You're talking about 1,000 plus police officers benefiting from the pay and grade. Again, they come from families. They come from families. So you look at the JUMP program, you look at the WASH program, you look at the housing assistance program, you look at the pension payment, you look at the pay and grade for the police, you look at the Empower program, where the government increased the amount of stipend given to the trainees of that program, the young men, 400 plus young men, and they increased the amount of grant money given to them from $2,400 to $3,000. Then you look at the minimum wage adjustment and the impact it had on families, actual families, the security officers, they're from families, the cooks, the geriatric caregivers, the gardeners, the bus conductors, the laborers, the housekeepers, the clerks, the simple workers, their salaries were increased, but they come from families. So the impact was felt and continue to be felt in that home, in that family. And you can look at other initiatives. The CES program, 500 plus small and medium-sized businesses got up to $30,000 to help them bounce back. They come from families. It's not just the individual, the family was impacted positively. You look at the laptop computers given to 3,700 plus students, free, because the government is making the classrooms smarter and more tech savvy or advanced, right? Adding technology to the classrooms, making it smarter. But these 3,700 plus students, they come from families and they are positively impacted. And that is important. Do not forget that. They come from families. The free tuition policy providing this $810 for every child who goes to TAMCC, who attends NULO. So the parent or parents don't have to hurt their head to find that money every year. Sometimes the child in a program for 3 years at TAMCC, or 2 years, or 2 years at NULO. Just check the savings for them. They can take that money and use it in other areas, paying bus for their kids, buying lunch. So the government cares, and they're impacting families for the last 3 years. While I do not know the exact statistics, but I do know every year some 2,000 or so students come out of NULO and TAMCC. So you're looking at 6,000, 8,000, because you have students there as we speak. About 8,000 students positively impacted by the free tuition policy, but they come from families. Then you have the free hot meal program, providing a hot meal every day for the students so that their stomachs can be satisfied and their brain can start working so they can study comfortably. So 13,000 students every day are being fed. 13,000 students fed every day through the school feeding program, free. The government is providing that free. And then you have the back to school voucher program that continues, impacting again families. Then you have the debushing program. This morning, I saw a number of my good neighbors coming from doing the debushing, and they're happy because the government has increased the amount of fortnights given. So more work is being provided for the people who depend on the debushing program. But they come from families. You look at other initiatives of the government that's impacting families, scholarships, the first generation scholarship program, where you have, for the first time, somebody in your house getting the chance to earn a university degree paid for by the government of Grenada. All these young people, they come from families. So you can't just see them as individuals. They come from families, and it impacts the entire household. You look at other initiatives. You have farmers who have gotten a lot of assistance. They come from families. The farm labor program, the plants given to them at concessionary rates, fertilizer given to them at concessionary rates, the equipment and machinery that they can loan or access through the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Forestry. You just check it out. You have nurses who are in the internship program. You have more nurses who are coming in. So the government cares about the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And we have to acknowledge that, because the different initiatives and programs, the Elevate Her program, where you have hundreds of young women given the opportunity to receive training and support so that they can be employable. They're given a stipend. You know, going back to the nursing or the nurse internship program that the government rolled out. I think it's either nursing or nurse, one of the two. Either nursing internship program or the nurse internship program. And I spoke to a young lady who I know very well. She went to SGU and she completed that nursing program at SGU. And I know about that nursing program well because I was called in some years ago to facilitate a course as part of that program, to train them. And she completed her first degree at SGU. And she was looking to travel. That's what it is. They complete the nursing program and they exit. She decided, here's a good opportunity to go into the nursing internship program. And she told me they're paying them the salary of a nurse, but they're not getting all the allowances, but they're getting the basic salary of a nurse. So if a nurse gets $3,000, that is what they will get for the 6 months as part of the internship program. When they complete the 6 months, then they would get the salary plus all the allowance. And she said to me, she's happy. She's happy that she's a part of that program, and she looks forward to becoming a full-time nurse. Because yes, you have your first degree, but the on-the-job training is so important. But that's 23 of them. They come from families. 23 families are being impacted. So you have to look at the bigger picture. Families are being impacted. When you build a piece of concrete road or a piece of concrete drain in a neighborhood, in a community, or you fix the playing field, or you light the playing field, or you fix the community center, or the basketball court, the netball court, or you put lights, solar lights in communities, you light up the community. Families feel safer. Families are impacted positively. And you can go on and on. You look at the amount of jobs that are being created in the economy. Construction, they even talk about that. The amount of construction jobs that are available, it is remarkable. I know it. In fact, I am, doing some stuff too, because by now, we have to construct, we have to build a modern studio, radio station / studio, right? A modern one, podcasting and otherwise. And to get workers from time to time is very difficult. And mind you, we are well advanced. I didn't give you an update in recent times because, some things you just do, and then when you complete, you launch and you let people know what's going down. But I can tell you that I have been at it for quite a while, trying to get that studio done. Because remember, we purchased the land and we started in earnest to advance the work. So maybe in the next month or 2 or 3 or 4, I will have a more proper update for you and I will be able to feature the property, all right? Highlight it and showcase it, the work that we have been doing. Sometimes you just got to do things quietly and let it speak for itself when it's completed. All right, so we have been working to all those who supported me and continue to do so, just letting you know that we are quite advanced. So getting people to just come to do stuff, it's not easy. So a lot of work is being done throughout the country. Jobs are being created. People have money. That is why in nearly all the events, all the shows and all the events, they have been successful. They sold out or ram out. All right. So the government is at work. The government is at work. And we have to acknowledge that. We have to let people know that. The government continues to, respond to the needs of the people. We see the project in Calivini going nicely, speedily. Things are happening there. There was a pause, and the people were not happy with it, but our beloved Prime Minister was able to get an engineer Grenadian from outside, I think the United States, and she plus those who have been subcontracted and other things like that, they have been doing a fantastic job, a great job there. And they have to be commended. They have to be applauded for this. That's the way to go. The Clogier project that is advancing nicely. The Southern Water Enhancement Project. That project bringing water from Concord, I think 1910, and a couple of the places. That project is going nicely down to the south and other parts. With development comes some inconvenience, so you have to understand that. All right, you have to understand that. And the government will fix back the roads that they're cutting and digging up to lay the pipes, and they're working fast. They're working quite quickly, Nawasa and the team. So things are happening for people. Things are happening for people, and I want to applaud the government. They have steadied the economy nicely. We see growth in the economy, projected growth. The economy is stable. In other words, money is in circulation. Businesses are doing well. I spoke to 2 business owners, my good buddies, and they said to me they were doing well. They've never seen it like this. So things are happening for our people. And I want to applaud the government of Grenada. I want to encourage them to keep doing what they're doing. All right? Folks, since returning from the diaspora, I have a piece of equipment that I have to send up to Kim the King in Carriacou. And I wasn't able to do it since Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I did speak to him. So this morning I must put that on the Osprey. I must send it up on the Osprey. The Osprey leaves, I think, about 9. It's a little after 9. So I will cut the program short for that purpose, to get that piece of equipment on the boat and up to the Osprey, right up to Carriacou, on the boat with the Osprey up to Carriacou. So we are 40 minutes in the program. The program normally finishes at the top of the hour. I do apologize for the inconvenience caused, but I will be back with you tonight in the hub, and again with this format, because my computer crashed and my backup, there was some problem with my backup, so I'm flat. right? So I will have to buy a computer from scratch, or if someone is gracious enough to give me a brand new computer, a desktop computer, that would be good. You never know, there might be somebody out there with one and who might be willing to give me that to use, right? Because the one I have that crashed. And, those things happen with technology. So in the meanwhile, I'm using my phone, right? And I hope you understand that. Maybe there's a little delay. Maybe my speech may come across as not real time, but just saying I had to improvise this morning, all right? I had to improvise this morning. So I do apologize for that. But tonight in the hub, I will use the same format unless I get a desktop computer today. Unless I get a desktop computer today that I can use, fall in line back again, Those things do happen, and I do apologize because I know it goes. All right? I would have preferred to be on the mic and using the computer from in here, but that is not possible. All right? So let's hope that between now and then, and to the folks who pledge their finances to keep the program going, try to honor that pledge. And then we have not done an actual pledge, and we are way behind in terms of the actual pledge itself to pay the bills and keep things going. So if you have not done so and you could, do so. All right? Do so. We may have to do an actual pledge to get the balance. I think we're short about $1,800 or $1,900. Somewhere about there, close to that. 1,800 or 1,900. Somewhere around there, but I have it written down. So there are people who pledged already, who gave a commitment, so I know what they pledge, how much, and that kind of stuff. So meeting the commitments, meeting the bills is key. But it's what it is. We have to continue the mission. Folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. I will be back with you tonight, And no, that's my usual studio, right? Original, Amadi, that's my usual studio. When I spoke earlier about the studio, the radio station / podcast studio, I'm talking about what the project that I'm embarking upon. Remember, the whole idea was to go to St. George's, rent a space in one of those malls, and set up the radio station, and set up the podcasting station, radio station podcasting, and pay every month $5,500 or $6,000 every month for the rent, plus what you have to pay to keep Grand Etang going, what you have to pay for staff and other things like that. And an idea came to me not to go that route. Take the resources, purchase the piece of land for the $50,000, $60,000, whatever the figure within that space, purchase the piece of land, buy materials, right? Excavate the land, because it's kind of slopey, excavate it and start the construction, do the work from there, right? So that's the idea that came, and we started that process, purchased the land, and we started doing what we're supposed to do to get things going, you see? What the person is referring to here? Oh, no, man, that's the usual studio. No, that's the usual studio. That's the usual. It's just that I'm not using the camera from the studio. I'm using my phone. So that's why. But this is not any new setting. This is the same. All right? Same. When we complete the actual studio, it will be a modern, advanced podcasting podcasting studio with a radio station component to it. And it will be spacious because it's quite a vast space. All right? We're talking about 30 by 40. It will be a vast space. Because when we doing stuff, we go big, or else we don't do it at all. So we're making headways, step by step by step. We're going to get there, all right? Because we have to be ready for when the election time comes around. When the election time comes around, we have to be ready to do work from that studio. And that is what I am trying to get organized, to organize as quickly as possible, but doing it properly. All right, doing it properly. So we're making headways. All right, we're making headways. So I'm just in a little corner in the studio, just saying that. Yeah, the usual thing. So folks, I want to wish you all the best. All right, not everything I talk about, not everything I tell you, but we are making progress. Bear with me, we're making progress. So have a wonderful day. Take good care and bye for now. Bye for now. Bye for now. I have to go bring that piece of equipment to Osprey for